This generation we are now on computer-based technology. But we need internet to use the computer properly. In this video we're gonna identify network problems. We're gonna learn how to solve this problem, so let's begin. Unplugged network cable. Typically, the message appears on a computer when an installed Ethernet network adapter attempts unsuccessfully to make a local network connection. Solutions for unplugged network cable. Fix 1. Restarting your computer. Simply restarting the computer is not enough, and you need to completely reboot it by following these steps. Step 1. Shut down your computer and unplug the power cable. If you are on laptop, remove the battery. Step 2. Wait for a few minutes. Step 3. Reconnect the power cable and battery. Step 4. Start your computer again. Website temporarily offline. Reasons why websites can go offline. There are numerous reasons why a website can go offline. It can be caused by everything from natural disasters, such as floods at your web host's data center, to you accidentally putting your site into maintenance mode. Some causes are more common than others. However, and in this next section, we'll look at the ones which are most likely to affect your site. Server overload. Sometimes websites can go down because the server on which they are hosted cannot handle the number of processes taking place. One cause of this is the DDoS attack, where a hacker will flood a server with so many traffic requests that it goes offline. It can also happen on a shared server, where one of the websites being hosted receives so much traffic that the other sites suffer performance problems as a result. Coding errors. A common cause of downtime is due to coding errors on your website. Whilst individual pieces of software are usually error-free, sometimes when you run them together they may cause a conflict. For example, if you run a WordPress website, you may find that two separate plugins are incompatible. Each may work perfectly when the other isn't installed, but when both are installed, your site may go offline. If this happens, you may need to find an alternative plugin. Another coding error happens when people tinker with the coding on their site without really knowing what they are doing. Lots of people do this, particularly with CMS website software like WordPress. If you intend to tinker with the coding, always make sure you have a backup so that, if the worst happens, you can get your site back online quickly. Poor hosting. If you find that your website goes offline on a regular basis, it could be that you have opted to go with a poor quality web host. They could be using outdated hardware, cramming too many users onto each server, or simply not monitoring how well their servers are performing. If this is the case, you need to migrate your site to a different and more reliable web host. Website temporarily offline. How to stop your website going offline. Find the right host. The single most important factor in keeping your website online is choosing the right host. A good host will provide a wide range of services to ensure that uptime is guaranteed. These include configuring servers for optimal website performance, use of fast, high-performance servers, use of backup servers or data centers if a server goes down, monitoring server performance so issues are dealt with before a server fails, monitoring for hacking and malware, managed updates and patching to operating system software. In addition, a good host will also provide services to help you look after your website, such as remote backups, 24/7 technical support, and site monitoring. Some hosts will also offer you guaranteed uptime, depending on the type of hosting package you choose. This can be between 99.95% and 100% uptime, backed up by a service level agreement SLA. Keep your software up to date. To prevent your site going offline because of hacking, it is important to keep your site's software up to date at all times. Cybercriminals look for vulnerabilities in outdated CMS, theme and plugin software and target those sites where those vulnerabilities are found. Monitor your website. Monitoring services provided by web hosts or through installed plugins can alert you if your site goes offline or if there are issues you need to take action on. They will also create error logs which you can use to diagnose why your site went offline and help you restore service quickly. What to do if your site goes offline? Make sure it is actually offline. If you cannot reach your website, make sure, first of all, that this is not due to the device you are searching on, the connection you are using, or your browser. If you can, get someone else in a different location to verify the status for you. Find the cause of your downtime. When you attempt to visit your site, you may get clues to the cause. Often the browser will report a reason for a failed connection. If there is a coding error, you may see the error code displayed instead of the actual web page. If there is heavy traffic, the site may take a very long time to load and may only partially show the contents. If these attempts to find a cause fail, you may need to log into your panel and look at any error logs. If you cannot log into your panel, then it is likely to be an error at your hosting company's end. Contact technical support. If you have chosen a web host with 24/7 technical support, get in touch with them straight away, inform them of your problem, and ask them for assistance. Often, what looks like a major problem to you may be something they can solve quite easily. Let your customers know. If your site goes down, you need to let your customers know about it. If you can still send email, send out a message to subscribers informing them that the site is currently unavailable and that service will resume shortly. You can also do this on social media. For example, you can post a status update on your Facebook page or send out a tweet. You should also do these things once normal service is resumed. IP address conflict. What is an IP address conflict and when does it occur? An IP address conflict happens when two or more devices in a network have the same IP address. This results to one or both of the devices not being able to communicate with the wireless network. How to fix IP address conflict in an easiest way. 1. Determine which devices are involved in the IP address conflict by identifying them. This is frequently accomplished by experiencing an error message or noticing problems with network connectivity on certain devices. To release and renew IP addresses. Release the current IP address on the conflicting devices and ask the network for a new one. To accomplish this, take the following actions. Press Windows+R to open the command prompt. Then type cmd without the quotations and hit enter. Enter ipconfig in the command prompt field. When the release is finished, enter ipconfig to renew without the quotations. Be patient while the gadget gets a new IP address. 3. Restart your network router or the DHCP Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol server if releasing and renewing IP addresses is unsuccessful in resolving the issue. This can assist resolve any short-term problems and enable devices to get their own IP addresses. 4. Static IP address configuration. If the disagreement continues, you can manually assign static IP addresses to the network's devices in the same subnet. Be sure that each device has a distinct IP address. For this, by entering the router's IP address in a web browser, which is typically printed on the router itself, you may access the configuration interface. Find the DHCP settings and turn DHCP off. Give every device a different IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server. Restart the router. Firewall malfunction. First of all, keep in mind that a firewall is a network security device that works to monitor incoming and outgoing network traffic and makes decisions in terms of allowing or blocking determined traffic based on a set of security rules. 6 quick steps to identify and solve common firewall issues. 1. Ping a PC near the device. A simple ICMP ping to a PC near the device is a good initial test to determine connectivity status and network performance issues. ICMP ping is an IP-based signal sent from one device to another. If the target device receives the ping from the source device, it will, if configured to do so, respond to confirm that is active and connected to the network. It's a simple way of confirming that a device is online. So, if your pings to the PC are not returned, try pinging the gateway. Continue working your way up the network with your pings to identify the point where they stop. Check for firewalls and firewall configurations. especially those that block UDP, SNMP, pings, or ports 161 or 162. Keep in mind that some networks block all ping traffic as a security measure to ping the device. Next, send another simple ICMP ping to the device to determine connectivity. If pings to the PC in step 1 were successful, but pings sent to the device fail, the problem is almost certainly with your SNMP device. 3. Telnet and/or browse to the device. If the SNMP device you are testing supports Telnet connections or web access, you should attempt to connect using one of these methods. If pings succeed but Telnet and/or browsing is blocked, this is a very good indication that you have a firewall issue. 4. Confirm the port configuration of the device. For additional security, some SNMP devices may use non-standard ports to obstruct unauthorized SNMP traffic. If so, make sure that these ports are not blocked by a firewall and are accepted by the manager. Another potential solution is to reconfigure the device to use standard ports. 5. Confirm that important IP addresses are not blocked. A firewall may simply be blocking the IP address of your device. And/or manager, confirm that these or any other needed IP addresses are not being blocked. 6. Trace the route to the device. Tracing the hops that network traffic is following to reach the device can allow you to pinpoint a tricky firewall issue. A simple trace can be performed from the command prompt of Windows XP. Open a command prompt in Windows XP. Type tracert, a single space, and the IP address of the device you are trying to reach, i.e. tracert 19.2.16.8.230.143. Press return to start the trace. Show the output to your IT department to identify potential firewall problems. Outside wireless signal range. Many people are hindering their access to Wi-Fi in their homes solely due to the location of their router. Wi-Fi signals will usually reach about 150 feet or over 45 meters for a 2 GHz frequency. Using a 5 GHz frequency, you will get about 50 feet or about 15 meters of reach. Tip 1. Move your router to a more centralized location. Improve Wi-Fi signal. Here's a rule of thumb to go by. Your average wireless router has a range of 150 feet 46 meters indoors and 300 feet 92 meters outdoors. While this is typically enough range to cover the average house or apartment, different obstacles and signal interferences can cause that signal to degrade before it reaches different parts of your home. Tip 2. Change your wireless router channel bands. This tip is fully dependent on your wireless router. However, if you live in an apartment or in a dense suburban neighborhood, your wireless interference issues may be because of your neighbor's Wi-Fi router. It may be difficult to determine if this is an issue. However, if you use any wireless device, such as a mobile phone or computer, you can check to see how many wireless signals are in range. The more devices in range, the more likely it is that a neighbor's Wi-Fi equipment could be causing issues with yours. Changing your wireless router's channel will allow it to operate on a slightly different part of the frequency band, clearing up the interference issue. How you go about changing the channel will vary by device and brand. Check your device manual or the manufacturer's website to learn how to adjust the channel settings. 3. Make a homemade Wi-Fi extender. WINDSURFER Wi-Fi Extender 6. Certainly not a foolproof method. You can manage to squeeze a small bit of range out of your Wi-Fi router through some DIY methods, using things like foil or aluminum beer cars. We also provide a detailed breakdown on how to make your own Wi-Fi extender. Wireless network configuration. Wireless network configuration encompasses several potential variances across environments, even in a complex single site. The network configuration basics required for a successful implementation can vary from one wireless network to another running on the same hardware as part of the overall wireless LAN environment. Gather network requirements. Before you tackle specific network configuration steps, you need to understand the environment's operational requirements. For example, a big university's wireless environment has multiple sets of requirements for different paradigms. The guest's network requires different configuration steps than the general use secure network. Wireless services enforce the goals and policies. But if you don't nail down those goals and policies, you won't know what network configuration steps you need to follow. Design and survey. This is one of the most critical steps in the overall process of bringing successful wireless to life. When you need to tackle the actual wireless network configuration basics, proper design based on surveying will tell you how to approach everything from cable placement to discrete setting. In the wireless LAN WLAN hardware, neglect these steps or trust it to unqualified staff, and it can result in costly rework. Implement WLAN components. Here's where the wireless network configuration steps that were defined by your requirement and system design actually get implemented. At these steps, the goal is to have no unknown or guesswork. If enterprise security is an important factor, you'll follow the configuration basics for extensible authentication protocol type, radius server and timers, and encryption in use. If you're setting up pre-shared key-based security, your configuration steps should include robust pre-share values and encryption types suitable for the client devices in use on a guest network. There may be no real security. Again, requirements drive these settings. Integrations. The Wi-Fi network is just one part of the network environment. From switch ports to dynamic host configuration protocol server setting firewall rules. Some network configuration basics range well beyond the WLAN. The key to getting these configuration steps right is to make sure you understand the entire environment. This may require a number of staff working together before it's done. Causes of wireless adapter problems and access point error message. While there are a variety of specific causes for this kind of connectivity error, which you will have to determine by a systematic process of elimination, they generally have to do with either problems with your OS interacting with the access point, or problems with the access point offering up the network to client devices, like your Windows device. How to fix problem with wireless adapter and access point error. Make sure your wireless adapter is on. Disconnect and reconnect to the wireless network. Check the configuration of the wireless network connection. Forget the wireless network and connect again from scratch. Reboot your access point. Make sure all your drivers are updated. Renew your IP address. Disable antivirus software. Reset your router. Consider buying a new modem. It may be time to upgrade your network equipment. Check with your ISP first to make sure you get one that is compatible with their service. Blocked by your service provider. In recent years, we have all been exposed to numerous web restrictions and limitations. In fact, internet censorship and surveillance is rapidly becoming part and parcel of our societies. However, internet service providers (ISPs) sometimes block websites that have little to do with actual crime, and that's when resistance sets in and encourages us to seek ways to access restricted websites. Use the Internet Connection Troubleshooter. The Internet Connection Troubleshooter is a great place to start. It's Windows' built-in tool that checks for common problems affecting your system's network connection. It works by restarting certain services and detecting conflicts. Once it finds the problem, it attempts to fix it. If the troubleshooter can't fix the problem, it provides information about the issue. Follow these steps for Windows 11. Right-click on the Start button and launch the Settings application. Once Windows 11 Settings app opens, scroll through the System page and click on Troubleshoot. After the Troubleshoot page appears, click on Other Troubleshooters. On the next page, click on the Run button next to Internet Connections. You can click on the Help Me connect to a specific web page, and then enter the address of the website that you can't connect to. Click on Next and allow the troubleshooter to find and fix the problem and help you connect. If that doesn't work, go back and use the Troubleshoot My Connection to the Internet option. Network downtime. Network downtime refers to the inaccessibility of a network due to the failure of a particular system, application, or the entire network of a company. Downtime could occur due to maintenance activities, power cuts, or unexpected technical failures. The impact of such interruption may vary for every organization, depending upon its size, customer base, and service capabilities. How to avoid network downtime. Invest in high-quality network equipment. High-quality equipment can improve your network resiliency in extreme conditions. Simultaneously, network teams should regularly review critical device details, such as end-of-life information and network inventory to detect and replace older equipment. Prolonged use of such equipment can slow down network operations. Update firmware regularly. Outdated devices are more vulnerable, so IT teams must regularly install updates and patches to devices and applications for improved network stability and security.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. At